Evening project in the works. Nope, it doesn't involve that guy. That's for later. What? Doesn't everybody have used subwoofer boxes and batteries and alternators in their closet? Yeah, I kind of got a stash. Got this at the pull apart place. I'm hoping those are blades and these are pins. This might not work. This one has this style of power up plug, which is the style that's on the aftermarket alternator, but the aftermarket alternator is not utilizing all these pins, so I'm not sure if plugging that in would be a good idea. But all I actually need is a good free spinning alternator for there to take place so that my belt will continue to work. However, if I can get that sucker to generate, that would be even better. Okay, that whole alternator plug thing, complete failure. I do think I could use some of the small blade style female connectors to create a plug. I just don't have any handy. I've got some of the larger ones, and those, although I could crimp them up and make them work on a small tab, they're too big to put two of them in there side by side and wind up with contact. Not good. All right. For anybody that's running the dual alternator bracket from GP Car Audio, if you need to take the secondary alternator out of the loop, you can run your belt, your original belt, and run it behind that pulley, behind that idler down there, and run it the same way, except it's not coming up and over and then back down. It's running it behind that and then around your big one, and it will work. So if you have to, if you have a belt break or something, and you're running the GP Car Audio dual alt bracket, that guy right there, if you're running that and you have a belt break, you got your stock belt, you can put it on and run on one alternator and take care of business. So that's not what happened with me. I'm actually having to get an alternator repaired. So this is a placeholder just to hold my wires and stuff in place. But I'm getting an alternator repaired, and I had to go down to one belt, or go down to one alternator. And this alternator has a normal size pulley, so it wouldn't fit, but I used my old stock belt and that works. So just trying to put this out there for anybody that might be in that scenario. I don't know about other dual alternator brackets, but this particular one, it works. And if your alternator bracket's made this way, you probably will be okay with it. I don't know. Anyway, if you got it from these guys, then you can do that. On the 5.3 liter Chevy engine, as you guys can tell, that's what we got here. Okay, so here's the thing. I switched over to just running a Headway bank, and although my alternator I only had the one stock one, the other one wasn't charging. But I noticed that the storage on the Headway bank is, well, it's 106, 104 amp hours, whatever it is. Even though it's able to produce a lot of power very quickly, it's still only storing that much power. And I've got multiple feedbacks from different people. Some say that they don't really, Headway cells don't really like to be high voltage. Some say that they do. I should just run Headway by itself so that voltage can stay up. I've had different people tell me different things, and I've thought about it myself. Honestly, the Headway cells are perfectly comfortable in battery voltage area. So I'm going to add back my 2 AGMs and get my amp hours back up to get up to about 300 amp hours, which will give me a lot more storage, and I'll still get I'll still get the 15C output from the Headway cells whenever I'm wanting the power. My overall voltage will be resting at like 12.6 without charging. I don't see any reason why that's a problem. I want to maintain the current capacity and the storage capacity between tracks. That's more important to me than the maximum amount of output power and the higher voltage. So I'm going back to the hybrid design, and I'm going to test that out and see how that works. Okay guys, there is a scientific formula that clearly states if you make something pretty, it won't work right. But if it looks like crap, it's probably going to work perfectly. I don't know. Yeah. So, I'm not happy about this current situation and the way this looks, but I bet it works brilliantly. So, it remains to be seen. Right now, I'm letting it charge these batteries up. They've been sitting in the shed for a couple of weeks. And they were both sitting at 12.6, but I'm letting it, put some current in there, make sure they're full up. But I don't know, man. I got them in here. I got the positives all in the back on everything, so that puts it in the least likely place to have problems. And guys are wondering, this is all that back bar, and that's all positive from the same source, so even if everything in there collided, it would just not be a problem. Alright, been sitting there letting it idle for about, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes past the last clip you guys saw. We're up to 14.6 on the gauge, so I'm sure these guys are good. They were probably 99%. Well, they were sitting at 12.6, so this is above their resting voltage. So right now they're peaking. The lithium bars are balancing. There's 2 of them, and I'm not sure about all that. I really don't like these bars. I really want to get this setup changed, but just testing purposes here, we're going to go with what we had plus what we're putting in here now, and I'm going to give it some tests and see just how much this is going to work with the stock alternator. Well, I took it for a ride, my normal route, and to the spot to where I normally drop down into the below 12, and I was still sitting at about 12.8 when that happened. So that's pretty substantial difference. So while the top of the voltage will fall off, when it gets down in between 12 and 13, it locks in and it just keeps holding. So I'm happy with that for right now. Still got to get this alternator sent off. We'll see what happens.